strong data analytics. You do quarterly refresh of the performance using the bureau piece. Plus you have a touch and feel. This means you get to read of what's happening in geography, to my mind, at least 2 to 3 quarters before it started reflecting in the financial outcomes of that. I think that is and that we've learned and invested deeply over a period of time. And that's unique to us. Not many people do it. I guess we will be the only unique company who's really looking at it. And actually that comes from our core ethos of how do we ensure that we provide that supply of credit. This is our high growth sector. They also happens to have a differentiated risk profile. This means if you don't have a touch and feel of the ground, so we won't have the risk outcomes of GNP of less than 50 basis points and so on. So if you look at over the last 3 years, if you won't have a touch and feel. So it's a very, very strong process of the risk governance. More importantly, it also comes from our approach to credit. So we are diversified. So we're not overexposed on any single sector. We're not exposed at a product level. We have product level caps. We're not exposed at a geography level or at a state level. No portfolio of ours across all of them will be more than 3.5% at a district level. So I think that creates then the cap at an obligor level, at a servicer level. So it's a very time-tested model, and over 10.5 years of, if you see the GNPA performance, you will see that we significantly outperform the top quartile players in this space.
And so just another one, in your RHP you've said that you plan to expand on your fund management channel as well by coming out with theme-based funds and all that. So is there any particular timeline for it?
We've run so far 9 funds. 5 of them have closed. All of them have delivered better returns to investors, and that reflects why investors continue to come and invest in us. The way to look at Northern Arc is that you build the sectoral expertise. Now, if I was a conventional player, I would have just lent in that sector. Right? I'm deeply committed and I bring that purpose to play. So I not only lend, but I also find credit solution to my peers, to our originating partners, and provide investment opportunities to banks, to multilaterals, to HNIs to invest in performing credit across these sectors. Then we invest in funds. The funds follows a very thematic and an independent approach. So right now our one open funds which we are deploying is an emerging business fund which focuses on the new age businesses. Then we've launched our own financial services fund, where we are deploying money essentially focused towards these 6 sectors. We're in the process of launching a climate fund, which is already up there. So very sharply focused in what we do.
Any timeline for it?
All of this is out in the.
Any new theme-based funds you're planning to?
So climate is one which is already we've already raised partial money and we will start doing the deployment later half of this year. Yeah, and so I think very sharply focused. We've done some managed funds. So GMO we're running a $50 million managed fund for them, which is essentially focused toward financial services in the sector. So essentially everything around in it is focused on this 40% of India's credit, which is probably the fastest growing credit space. And you build your lending, which creates a NIM for us. So NIM is about 8.5, 8.3, 8.4%. Then you make about 100 basis points through the fee income, which is placement and the fund management business. That creates a very high quality. So your gross spreads goes up to about 9.3, 9.4. You cut the OPEX, cut the credit cost, you make 3% plus return on assets. It's a very, very powerful business which has a strong flywheel effect to what we do. And how do we bring our knowledge at play and still make a positive impact in the India or the Bharat growth story?
Good that you clarified that Northern Arc refers to the Silk Route and not Punjab, Haryana and UP Bihar. But my question is, you have been really, we'd like you to dwell more upon the risk models that you have been involved in, because that makes it more interesting looking at the results that we have and how are they different from the run-of-the-mill banking models.
Sure.
We normally have.
And I think when you look at the performance, it'll tell you how over the years it's performed better. I have my colleague Partha Sarthi, who's a group risk head, to maybe get into more detail, and I'm happy to chime in as required. Partha, over to you.
Hi. Yeah, obviously at Northern Arc we have a robust risk management framework. The which is what you have seen in the numbers. Right? We have a different approach to risk. Right? Like any regular lender, run-of-the-mill bank that you mentioned, we have risk policies, underwriting guidelines which are sector-specific and generic, and we have product notes, policies, these sort of all those things, which any lender of our size would obviously have. But what is it that separates us from the rest of the group and allows us to take the sort of risk that we take is, first thing is we are absolutely focused on the 6 sectors, and now the climate is added as a some the sectors that we operate in, and everything that we do is focused on these sectors. In these sectors, we focus on 3 things which really helps us to take this risk. One is the one, as Ashish mentioned, domain knowledge. Right? In the 700 plus districts which are there in the country, as of March 24, let's say, we have 671 districts exposure directly or indirectly. Typically, we have 650 plus at any point of time. And the team physically visits, right, at least 200 districts in the country. And when I say visits, it's not really at the district headquarters level or at a partner's head office level. They actually visit absolute grassroots and will attend how a business loan is actually originated, right? How a microfinance loan group is actually formed, how it is originated, which entities origination team actually has better connect with the borrower. And to an extent where if a borrower is likely to default, to whom he is more likely to default, to whom she is less likely to default. That level of ground level knowledge. So the domain knowledge is the first piece. The second piece is again what Ashish mentioned in terms of the data. Over the period of time, we have collected data of 35 million loans, okay, which are either sourced through our direct retail or through the sort of securitization pools that we have invested in. For each of these loans, at the time of origination of the loan, what was the demographics or what was the loan parameters of that, and then what was the bureau report of that person and any other data that you have available. We are not really focused only on the bureau score, but the underlying bureau data, XML data is what we really focus on. And this data covers periods like demonetization, COVID, and then localized events like floods, cyclones, etc., which gives you a view onto if there is a risk event, how much a portfolio is likely to be impacted, and how much time it will take to come back, to what level it will come back, that sort of thing. And the third piece, one is domain knowledge, second is data, and the third piece is financial modeling. We have a retail risk model, new score, that's 30 plus models actually. Similarly, we have mechanisms to score partners. We also have, in fact, we do quite a bit of analysis at various pin code level. In fact, not just looking at the current stress data, but also looking at the overheating, which districts or which states or which geographies are more likely to be impacted in future because of the current overheating, which may not be there in the current par level. So, apart from policies, domain, data, risk modeling. On top of that, we have a robust early alert process. The sign of stress has to be identified 6 to 9 months early, as you mentioned. If you are seeing the signs of stress from the par data and not from other overheating parameters, you have already missed the bus, right? The early alert is what it is. And we have a collections team, of course, which in fact, if there is a portfolio that is going back or going under stress, we actually try to take over and collect ourselves. We have done with one vehicle finance portfolio, one business loans portfolio. We have the capacity to do it. All of this actually helps us to take the sort of risk that we take. On top of that, at a portfolio diversification level, we have limits which are there for geography, which are there at a partner level, which are there for product level. No single district can be above 5%, no single state can be above 25%, secured, unsecured, products. All this is to ensure that there is diversification on the book and the risk outcomes are predictable, consistent, best in the class.
If I may add, I think more importantly than all of this analytics and connecting to the previous question is the strength of character to apply things. Because you have strong processes, you cannot be driving a business looking at the rear view mirror. That means bring all of this and plus you demonstrate the strength of character. That's what the management team brings in. Sorry, this thought. That's the truth.
Sir,